My name is Danito Gurley, I'm born in Central. I'm in Trinidad and Tobago, 31 years now. Well, my father passed away, so I was 11 and had no one to take care of me in St. Vincent. So my granddad came for me. At the beginning, when I came to Trinidad, I started living in San Fernando, and then eventually, I never grew with my mom. Started missing the love of a mother and asked to go live with my mom. So I lived in Malone for most of my years and from there. I've been to prison numerous times. And my very first incarceration, it was a learning process. Because coming to realize that all the customary habits have been cut off. And then the restrictions in prison, the rules that you have to comply with. And then there are consequences. All right? Now, being accustomed with freedom is something that all human will have. You want that freedom. So I was a bit frustrated in prison. And then, it started conditioning my mind as though I'm weak because I couldn't stop going to prison. Meeting, Mr. Lowe, he then introduced us to Sister Shamian, Sister Laverne, Sister Paula from the Jubilee. That is when my sentence started to get a little easier because I was allowed to do what I love the most, which is singing. And well, I never was introduced to gospel really until Jubilee. At our first encounter, we didn't totally transform me, but over time, over a period of time, we start penetrating my chain of thoughts, till this is where I am now. "13 years back, I would have never believed that I would be sitting here so sane, so socially fit, and having a talk with you all, a constructive talk. I thought I would have died on the pavement because I was so hooked up on being an addict. I am 9 years sober, 2 years with the help of the prison service, and 7 years on my own with the strength of God. This is why this topic is so fitting for me, more than my past. Because now I have my grandkids living with me, and I am seeing the impact that I have in their life prior to when I was not there. Even I got back my wife. And presently, I am now youth officer for the constituency of Tabakit. And we gain the respect of a lot of well-established businessmen in the community who are giving me another opportunity to be somebody in society. Just viewing where I was to where I am now. Sometimes in life, in society, in even the very communities that you're from, you said people that you would believe would support you or lift you up. Sometimes intentionally, or without the intent, they sort of pull you back because they would always have the little looks of you going back and making the same mistake. They always say it's the devil that reminds you of who you was. So these are the struggles sometimes I face on a daily basis with my peers, even my siblings, But me in my own mind, I know that God has brought me a long way. If you hold yourself a prisoner of your past, then you wouldn't really realize what God is doing with you presently and what He have intentions to do with you. When someone who have had a past, who have gone through the furnace of the fire of life, they need opportunities to merge back into society, and they need that equal and fair chance not someone that always willing to judge you. Even if we will make mistakes. Finding our way back, we will make mistakes. And at times, we really need people that will be genuinely a support. Now, I could tell you about these Jubilee girls. The way they used to hug me in jail. I thought, well, but this thing really, because sometimes you wouldn't look for that from people who come in from the good lives, who would have made all the right critical decisions in life, coming to hug a convict and tell him, well, we love you. And even the times that I would have relapsed and came back to prison, no judgmental looks, no stares of stares. It's just love and keep giving me the encouragement to go and try harder. And like I said, throughout my transition, Jubilee has always been a part of my life, which is the reason why I'm always willing to give any effort, to render any service to them, to make whatever they are doing better. Well, what I would tell the youths that I would have wished someone told me is take time to grow. Especially youths coming out of school, looking to head into the world. I don't know what it is, the chasing of the dollar have these people all crazy. Sometimes we need to try and be more family oriented. Simple as, listen, it have much more work to do other than running out there for the dollar. Sometimes some of us, we are in a home where their granny's still alive, grandpa's still alive, and you will be well taken care of if you just give granny a couple of months or grandpa a couple of months to see about them. Sometimes these are the little things that we all have to do to condition our minds to help us, because sometimes granny or grandpa have something to sit in that whilst we need his, they would never have the time to sit in. So this is what I'm telling the youth right now, is to approach life a little slower than the fast track life that you have now. Take time to really understand family, the responsibilities to your families, and education. I have 4 1s and 2 2s and never applied it the right way. You see, some of us, we go out there and our parents educate us, and we sell ourselves for less. That is something very important that youths need to understand today, that they need to educate themselves. Because I was in an open forum the other day, and the question was asked, how come women of today are more successful than men? It's because men fail to educate themselves, and which is the reason why we have so much crime. And I have initiated a big brother initiation in Gasperlo to Tabakit, where I'm also trying to have introduced boxing to Tabakit, to have extra curriculum on the agenda of the youths, because sometimes when they're left with too much time to waste is where bad influence comes in. You peer pressure to do things that your parents wouldn't really let you do. So this is some of the avenues that I'm catching the youths from an early stage, because influence are one of the greatest things out there that leads our youths off. They cause them to derail. So my focus with youths is basically education, and to understand, how communities were back then, how youths would interact with elders, would take responsibility to do little chores. I mean, simplicity is the best teacher, Simplicity, if we go back to those little standards, we will get somewhere. Sometimes when you're accustomed living a certain way and, Christians come to you, they tend to friend them because they think that they are judgmental. So I am here to stand as a mediator to tell some of my peers, listen, give them a try. Sometimes giving them a listening ear, it could make a difference. because there was this one guy in while incarcerated. His name is Colin Peters. He's some of the jail pastor, and the inmates will give that man hell. And up to this time, now that I'm refreshed by God, I still hear Colin Peters in my head. And the little words may seem just like words, but they are not. They are straight from God, divine guidance that we ought to take heed of. So one of the songs that I start my day with is an ancient song, but it's for me. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.